y'all, what is up? What's poppin'? What's going on? It's your favorite Hope Dilla, and I'm coming with some enlightenment for that ass, okay? So today's episode, I really want to talk about tarot, and I'm really fucking excited about it because tarot is my baby, okay? Tarot is really important to me. I generally like shuffle my cards every morning and get a idea of what my day is going to be like. I get messages from spirit, something that I like to incorporate in my everyday routines. And so I just want to talk about some things that I personally have tried and used to help me understand tarot better, because especially like if you're just like learning tarot, it can be really daunting. It's a lot of different symbolism, it's a lot of different messages, it's a lot of cards in general, so like it's just a lot. So I just want to give y'all some things that I personally like to do in order to enhance my tarot experience to where I'm able to learn it better and I'm able to actually retain the information, so that when I do tarot readings, I'm able to comprehend what it is that spirit is telling me intuitively, as well as reading what the card means. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to find a deck that resonates with you, especially when it comes to like tarot and oracle. So my very first deck was a Rider-Waite tarot deck, but the problem with that is, one, when you're learning tarot, it's a little bit difficult to give yourself a reading when you're still learning the meanings of it. So I ended up just going and getting me an oracle deck. Now with oracle decks, the thing that I like about it is it's very straight to the point. Not all of them, but majority of them are very straight to the point. So like if you're asking a specific question, you're going to get messages that's going to be specific to that. So let's say, for instance, if you are wanting to make a change in your life, like maybe you're asking if you should make a certain decision, and you get like right action, you get change, you get guidance. So it kind of lets you know what the right answer is without using as much as your intuition. Versus with tarot, if you get one of the like suits, you actually have to know what each suit means. So tarot was one of my favorite, or oracle was my favorite way to kind of like get answers with spirit as I was learning tarot, because it was just more straightforward. Now there are also other oracle decks that is going to be a little bit more intuitive. So this one is one of my favorite ones, this one right here. It comes with a booklet, and so with this, it has things like karmic debt, forest bathing. So like forest bathing, depending on the question that you're asking, you probably want to look this up and see what the meaning is, because these have specific meanings. It's important to read the books. It's up to you if you want to read the book or not, but the books have a lot of really good information that the author kind of specifically created this for. So like the message that's in here is specifically for this card, you know what I mean? So you want to look at the booklet, and you want to make sure that you're reading. So just get to know what feels right for you and how you kind of want to start off your divination journey. Now, like I said, my first tarot deck was the Rider-Waite, but I honestly didn't really resonate with the Rider-Waite. It was kind of hard for me to like do tarot and connect with it, because it just wasn't something that I was really into. So I ended up getting the Modern Witch Tarot, and this is how the case looks. And this is pretty much like the same as the Rider-Waite, but it's literally just like modern times. And I like the colors, I like the symbolism. I just genuinely think that I resonate with this more. So like these are some of the cards. And so it was easier for me to intuitively connect with them and understand what each card meant for me, because it struck something within me that I was able to connect with, versus, I don't know, just some old tarot deck that had a lot of different things in it that might not have resonated with me as much. And there are a lot of different tarot decks that you can get that literally goes off of the original Rider-Waite. So if you don't want to get the Rider-Waite, or if you don't want to get this, just look at some that are similar to it. There are some on Amazon that I saw that's like $10, and it was like a holographic one that I had, but I ended up giving it away to a friend of mine. So just see what resonates with you, and then kind of go from there. But picking the oracle deck or the tarot deck that resonates with you, in my personal opinion, is super important, because if you don't really resonate with it, it's going to be harder for you to connect with it. And the connection between you, spirit, and your oracle cards are important in order for you to generate a message. So like, I find that when I use a tarot deck that isn't really like as pleasing for me, I feel like it's harder for me to get the message. I mean, like, I'm going to get the message because of my intuition and because of my connection to spirit, but I'm just saying it's just not as cool as having a tarot deck that you actually resonate with, you know? So once you get your deck, it's very easy to just want to shuffle and want to ask the questions and want to work with it. I get it. It really, truly is. But before you do it, you really want to make sure that you cleanse your deck. I cannot stress how important this is. You want to cleanse your deck. You want to make sure that you are cleansing any previous energy, you know, make sure, like, when I cleanse it of the energy and any entities that may have attached itself to the cards or to anything in general. That's just like my typical like wording, I guess, when I'm cleansing something. Even when I'm cleansing myself, like, entities can get literally attached to anything and anyone. So you just want to make sure that you are cleansing out all of this energy, and if anything that does not serve your best and your highest good, you just want to remove it. Okay, how I do that is, you can I have this really amazing tobacco mist. It's a cleanser. It's also like, you can use it for like ulcer cleansing, you can use it for just cleansing in general, but this is also like, tobacco is a really great offering for like ancestors and stuff like that. So I mean, it can be used for a lot of different purposes, but I like to like, I can, you know, like, take my deck and then I'll just kind of like mist it over it, but you don't want to like saturate it, like they're cards, so don't like saturate it. So I like to spray it, say a prayer over it. Anytime that you're cleansing anything, you don't just want to cleanse it and then just be done. Like, you want to cleanse it, speak your intentions, and you want to say like a little prayer over it. You can also use sage. You can use incense. You can use Palo Santo. You can also meditate and do like meditate and envision like a white light, or like a protective light, a cleansing light, to cleanse the cards. You can also use sound bowls. I know there are some people who use sound bowls. Me personally, when I cleanse my tarot deck, I like to like use sage. Sage is like a very powerful cleanser for me, so that's just something that I like to do. But if you want it, you can take like a sound bowl, and you just place your cards in them, and you just let the sound cleanse it. And you can speak your intentions. You know, you can use the sound bowl for however long you want to, but like I said, that's just not my preferred way to cleanse it. Also too, you just want to meditate with your deck. You want to form a bond with them. There are some people who like to sleep with their tarot deck when they first get it. I do. Sometimes I like to put it under my pillow, or like, I'll have it with me. I'll carry it with me. I'll make sure that I'm like touching it and working with it and creating that bond. There are some people who like to interview their deck. I've done that a couple of times. I would be lying if I said that I do it all the time, because I don't. But there are some times that I do it. And it's really funny because the deck that I interviewed, I can't remember what deck I interviewed, but it was like, what's your strength and what's your weaknesses? And it was like, the strength was pretty much like gaining knowledge on things that's going on. But the weakness was, I think the weakness was like the harshness of it, like the harshness of the messages. So it was really cool to like get that message from the deck. So it's really interesting. You should like interview your deck if you feel compelled to do it. It's very fun. It's really cool. And I don't know, I just personally like to do it. So on to the meanings. So first thing that I want to say is, if you are thinking about doing tarot school, I want you to do your research, okay? I want you to do your research into the tarot school, because I invested in a tarot school, and this is somebody who, like, I personally, like, I love her tarot videos. She's always super on point, super intuitive, like I just love like getting messages, and I love watching and learning from her. But I will say that her tarot school was very underwhelming, because a lot of people who do tarot school, and this is from like my experience and also like hearing about other people's tarot schools, is what they do is they literally just talk about the meaning of each tarot card. And that's just something that you can literally get from a book. That's something that you can get from Google. But when I purchased a tarot school, when my intent of purchasing the tarot school, it was to learn more about things that I wouldn't find on Google. You know, more of what prayers, you know, should you say before you're you know, doing your tarot, cleansing your cards, you know, making sure that you're not connecting to spirits that you don't want to connect to, just like the deeper aspect of it. I was expecting to get more, and I feel like I really wasted money because the things that I was taught weren't things that I felt like I needed to pay for. So make sure that you are doing your research, you know, because a lot of people have these schools, but it's really basic information that you can really just find online. So one thing that I like to do is I actually took a printout online, and I took some spray glue and I glued the meanings to the back of the card. So like if I'm giving myself a reading, because so if I'm giving myself a reading, let me finish my thought. Because when I'm giving myself a reading, it's really interesting because let's say for instance, I'm just shuffling and then a card comes out, right? Oh, there we go. A card came out. Queen of Cups came up upright. So if I didn't know what that meant and I'm asking spirit, what messages do I need to hear for today? And then I look on the back, nurturing, practical, you know what I mean? Like it has the definition, so I don't have to be like, okay, well, let me go on my phone and look it up. Because what I would do in the past is I would do a tarot reading on myself, and then I would Google what each one meant, and then I would write it down, and then I would go off of my intuition and what the meaning was. And I just feel like it kind of took away from the tarot reading, because it's like I'm in the zone, okay, and I'm focused and I'm trying to get this out, but then here I am, you know, stopping and looking on Google so I can find the answer. And I just felt like it just kind of took away from it. So to just kind of flip it over and look on the back is super helpful. They have training tarot cards, but the training tarot cards were like $40, like $50, like $30, the ones that I saw. And I just thought that that was just way too ridiculous. You can go and buy some $10 tarot cards and go to the library if you don't have a printer and print out for free or for 10 cents. Glue them bad boys on the back. And I actually went to Dollar Tree and got like the spray like glue adhesive, and then I stuck it on the back, and that's literally been helping me so much. So that's a really great way to learn about tarot, is to put it on the back and then just flip it over and get the meanings that way. I also created some flashcards that I keep. So like sometimes with the back, if I feel like the back, because it has like very short messages like energy, passion, lust, adventure, but like if I felt like I wanted to go a little bit deeper into the messages, I wrote out the actual card, and then on the back has the meaning of the upright and then also the reverse, and it's just more in detail. So if I felt like you know, like I just need a little bit more information on the card, then I look on the back. And you can also put the because astrology also rules different cards and the different symbolism, so you can also add those messages on there as well. But I personally recommend breaking it down a little bit, because tarot gets overwhelming sometimes. It's a lot to tarot. Like there is a lot of different segments to tarot. Like I said before, you have astrology, you have the symbolism of it, you have the actual meaning of it, you have your intuition, you know, the colors, you know, there's just so many different ways to interpret messages. So for me, it was easier for me to just look at the card and intuitively, let me get another deck. So the first thing that I did was, and sorry if this is kind of jumbled, I'm trying not to be jumbled in my explanation of how I'm learning tarot, but I just feel like that was also like me learning tarot was very jumbled, and I think that's why it took me so long to like actually learn, because it was just kind of everywhere. But the first thing that I did was I just looked at the card and see what the card means to you. Like what emotion is this, or what message are you getting by just looking at the card? You know, like, what is the colors, like what colors are jumping out to you? You know, what hand gestures, or you know, what symbols, or you know, what is standing out for you. And then once you find that out, like the Two of Cups, it always just gives me the idea of just two people coming together. And that's literally what the Two of Cups is talking about. It's talking about like harmony, balance, two people coming together to create something. It's like divine love. So I always just see like two people like coming together. Like that's just something that was like the basic, you know, meaning of it. And then also with the lion up here, I would think of Leo sometimes, you know, just different things, you know. Also you can even, you know, point out the fact that she's standing on the water and she's also standing on the land, you know. They're coming together and they're bringing two different things, but it's in unison. There's just different meanings that you can, you know, come and get with tarot. You know, your intuition is your intuition. So just because your intuition is telling you something different than what the card is meaning doesn't mean that your intuition is wrong. That just means that that's also a message for you as well. So, you know, sometimes when I do my tarot and I'm shuffling and stuff like that, sometimes like the messages that I get might not be exactly what the message is, but like intuitively that's the message that I'm getting, and that's the vibe that I'm feeling from the card. You know, like there are certain cards in the tarot that people say are like bad cards, but I don't necessarily feel that they're bad cards. Like the Tower card, people, you know, don't really like that card and it gets a lot of like negativity, I guess. But I don't think that the Tower card is a bad card, you know. So it's all about your intuition. It's all about what is feeling right to you. So yeah, that's honestly one of the first things that I feel like you should do, is to look at the card and see how it makes you feel intuitively. And then once you look at the card and you allowed your intuition to kind of like develop a thought and an idea of what this card is telling you, then look at the meaning, so that the meaning isn't taken away from your intuition, and it's not taken away from your original thought pattern, if that makes sense. So there are a lot of different ways that you can learn tarot. Honestly, Biddy Tarot is one of my favorite go-tos to learn about the different meanings. And actually, like on the back of these tarot cards is the Biddy Tarot printable you know, like thing that they have, and that's what I added to the back of mine. Also too, like my library had different tarot books that I was able to study. So like if you have a library near you and if you have a library card, definitely check out the library, look at some books. I went to Five Below, $5. But I went to Five Below and I found this book, and it has a lot of really dope ass stuff in it. Like it has, like, this is the Empress, so it has like the upright short meaning and the reverse meaning. So this is the interpretation, the reflection, and the action. And so this has like focus on self-care, change your environment, believe in your own abundance. So it gives you like different scenarios on like what it would be used for. And I just think it's really cool. It has like a lot of really great information. The only thing that I noticed that wasn't really in here was like the astrology and the like numerology, numerology, can you say it right? Astrology, numerology, as well as like some of the symbolism in the card. There was a tarot book that I got from the library, and it was like this really big tarot book, but it literally had everything, like every single thing in it. And if I can remember the name of the book, I'll put it on the screen, because I don't think I have it. I think I returned it already. But yeah, it also just talks about like the major arcana, and it just talks about just different things. Oh, so it does have numerology. It does have numerology, which is cool. I didn't realize that. But anyway, so this is a pretty cool book. It was only $5, and it has so much really great information in it. So if you are interested, I would most definitely recommend getting it. And then for those of you guys who are listening to the podcast, if you want to look at the book, go to my YouTube channel. Otherwise, the title is called Tarot. It says Connect with Yourself, Develop Your Intuition, Live Mindfully, and it's by Tina Gong. So yeah. So like I said, learn the symbolism as you go. Astrology is also extremely important in learning tarot. That's something that I've been learning slowly. I do know about like a little bit of astrology, but I'm not like a huge astrologer and I don't know as much about it. I'm still learning, but as you get to know the meanings and you get to connect with each card, then you kind of want to start to add in, some more information to learn, just so that you're learning the full range of tarot and you can give yourself as well as whoever you're reading for like the best experience and more information, So learn how you feel like works best for you. That just kind of like what works best for me. Like even when I would do it, I would take my cards and I would separate my cards into each suit. So I would have all swords, and then I have all cups, all pentacles, all wands. And so I would learn for like 1 week straight. I would just learn about the wands. And then once I felt like I had the wands down and I felt like I was good, then I moved over to the pentacles. And then as I'm learning the pentacles, I would also review the wands to make sure that I don't forget that. And then I would just kind of like go off of that and just kind of, piggyback off of that, so that I'm learning new things and I'm also retaining the things that I learned before. So I'm not just learning new information and forgetting what I learned already, so it's kind of like learn new and then review, learn new and then review, learn new and review. And that was my process, breaking it down, because like I said, it can be very overwhelming. So break it down. I actually learned the major arcana first. That was the first thing that I started to learn. And then I went over to the cups, because I feel like the cups was a little bit easier for me to learn for some reason. Then I went to the wands, then I went to the swords, then I went to the swords, then I went to the wands, then I went to the pentacles. So, just learn however you feel works best for you. And yeah, just kind of go off of that. Another really cool thing that you want to do is like journal your readings. When you're giving yourself a reading, write it down. Keep a collection of just one. I just think it's cool because it's like as you evolve throughout your tarot journey, you start to look back on certain messages, and you'll probably find that certain messages are also relevant to like where you are now. But even then, it just shows your growth. It's a learning thing. And it's just really cool to kind of document it and to just keep it there for you. So that's just something that I personally like to do. I haven't been doing it lately. I do like to like have a audio on, and then I'll kind of like say what my reading is, and then I'll record it, and then I'll keep it. So I have like an audio journal of my tarot. And so that's just kind of like how I've been doing it. And then you want to make sure that you're not adding your opinion more than you are like spirits. So you want to make sure that you are really grounding yourself and centering yourself and meditating before, so that the information that's coming through is not just solely off of you and your opinion. Like if they ask for your opinion, give your opinion, but it's more of what is spirit saying? What are the cards saying? What is the message that's coming through? It's not really up to you to kind of sway the reading and to kind of change it and to deviate it into whatever you feel like you want to say. It's what is spirit saying? What is the message? Try not to alter it. Me personally, I feel like that's kind of like bad karma. Like if you're, like even if your intentions are good, you still just want to make sure that you are saying what spirit is saying. Now, if you be like, okay, well, my opinion is blah, 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 blah. But I don't know. I just think that it's important to have spirit's opinion at the top, and then, add yours in if you want to, whatever. But the reading is to connect with spirit for advice. Otherwise, they would just be coming to you and asking you, hey, how do you feel about this? But they didn't. They asked for a tarot reading so that spirit can come through in the message. So, Also, too, you want to make sure that you're cleansing the space before you are doing a reading. I like to cleanse myself. I like to cleanse my space. Also likes to cleanse the person that I'm doing a reading with and doing a reading for. Since I'm still learning, beginner to beginner, I don't charge people for it. It's just something that if you want a reading, I'll give it to you. Let me know how it resonates. It's practice for me. If you are not that skilled in tarot, don't be going out there advertising that you can give people readings, okay? Because this is really serious. People, they consult tarot for advice. They really need help on their love life or on their career or whatever the case is. It's not really like something to play around with, and it's not something to intentionally give misinformation. So you just want to make sure that cleanse the space. Make sure that when you are connecting to spirits, you are connecting to the spirits that you are intending to connect to. When you are using tarot, that is a form of connecting to spirits. So, other spirits also hear that. And if you're vulnerable to that, they can attach itself to you and come in through the reading. So one thing that I like to do is I like to say that I am connecting to blah, 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 and I reject and I revoke any low vibrational energy or entities that try to attach itself to me. I reject and I revoke any unwanted energy, any unwanted messages. I reject and I revoke it, just so that I can make sure that I am getting what it is that I intend to connect to. And that's not my exact wording of it, but I'm just saying, like, make sure that you say that you reject and you revoke what it is that you are not trying to connect to, because it can happen. Spirits can connect to you. If your energy is off, don't give nobody a reading, okay? If you are depressed, if you're sad, if you're mad, if you're miserable, don't give nobody a reading. It's not your place to bring your lower vibrational energy into a reading and have that shit seep over. I just think that it's important to protect your energy and also the energy of the person that you're doing a reading for. I remember I was scrolling on Instagram and it was this one tarot video that just kept popping up for me. And normally I don't really open myself up to a lot of different people reading for me, because I understand how important and how you really need to protect your energy. You're allowing people to tap into your energy. They're also connecting to your ancestors and your guides so that they can clearly, give the message out. So I don't allow other people to connect with me. Long story short, I clicked on it because it just kept popping up for me for a month. For literally a month, I just kept seeing that video. So I was like, let me just click on it. I clicked on it and immediately I felt her energy, and it was so dark, and my stomach dropped to the bottom of my chest, and I was like, what the fuck? Because I've never experienced that before. So I clicked off of the video and I was sitting there what the fuck? And so I ended up clicking back on the video and I scrolled down to the comments because I just wanted to see what other people were saying, because they had a lot of views. And the people in the comments were oh, sorry you're depressed, I hope that you feel better. And then they were commenting the group that they picked, and it's if you know that somebody is depressed, know that they should not be giving you a reading. You don't want that energy. You don't want that. When you're giving somebody a reading, you need to be in a good state, okay? You need to be in a stable state, and you need to be in a less vulnerable state. I just think that y'all use your intuition when you are giving other people readings, and also giving readings to yourself, or just whatever the case is. Energy is transferable. Energy is transferable. So make sure that you're just connected to energy of your best and your highest, and you're not being bamboozled and played out here in these streets, okay? All right, and so the very last thing that I want to say is that tarot spreads can be really confusing. They have the Celtic cross, they have the one where it's the past, the present, and they just have a lot of different ones. Me personally, I like to just shuffle the cards, and when they fall out, I'll just put them in a straight line. Sometimes I'll intuitively replace them in order to where I feel like it flows better for me to read. But I mean, you don't necessarily have to look up tarot spreads. Tarot spreads are, if that's something that you want to explore, and if that's something that you feel like you want to do, then most definitely do that. But it's really not necessary. It's not something that you have to learn, and it's just you have to learn how to set the cards up correctly, because you really don't. It really just depends on what works for you. Also too, you don't need to have 20 different tarot decks to tell you something, because ultimately your intuition is also extremely important. And so when you're relying on your intuition to get the messages across, then the tarot cards are pretty much assisting you and your intuition to getting to the point of where you want to be. But if your intuition is like that, there are some people who don't even need tarot cards in order to relay the message that spirit is trying to relay. So it's all about your intuition. Strengthen your intuition. The very last thing that I want to say too is, let's say for instance, if you really just don't have money to buy oracle cards and it's something that you want, get you some index cards, some index cards. So I follow the Hermit Tarot on YouTube, and I saw that she has like index cards that she would use. I actually haven't seen her use them in a minute, but and they would just be personalized index cards, and I was like, oh, like I love that, like that's such a great idea. And so I literally just got some tarot cards, and I just wrote messages on them. It doesn't really matter what it is that you write on there. Write whatever you feel compelled to write. You know, if you want a love oracle deck and you just don't have the money to get one, or maybe you just don't have access to it, get you some oracle cards and write some love messages on there, and then shuffle it, and you can make it way more customizable to the messages that you want to hear. So it makes it, you know, really interesting, and it makes it a lot more personal. So even some of them I put like no, yes, maybe, possibly, you know, try harder next time, maybe, you know, inner child play, money is here, you know, just different things. So so yeah, that is pretty much all that I wanted to say. That's all that I wanted to put out there. I hope that y'all got something from this video. And if you are on your journey to learn tarot, I would love to know, what is your favorite part about learning tarot? What are some things that you've learned? What are some things that you can share with me to help me expand my practice? Because like I said, beginner to beginner, like this is my beginner tips. This is what I've been using and what I've been learning so far. So I hope that y'all enjoyed. And yeah. Peace out. Oh, also too, make sure that you comment, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Follow me on my socials. This is also a podcast. Go follow my podcast. Support my jewelry line. You know, if you fucking with the crystal jewelry, I am actually going to start posting my crystal jewelry soon. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Peace out.